welcome. Quote Me on That podcast is an initiative of Quote This Woman Plus. Quote This Woman Plus, also referred to as QW Plus, is a gender justice organization that links women plus experts to the media. Quote Me on That introduces our Women Plus experts to the world. Hi and welcome. Today we're speaking to a woman who's turning service into a sustainable business model and a global movement. Clementina Busayo is an Usherpreneur, author, project manager, and founder of Gloriouswills Ushering Services, a trailblazing platform that teaches the business of ushering and creates jobs. From moderating events to teaching on YouTube, to co-founding the Professional Groomsmen Initiative, the authoring of the profitable Usherpreneur, Clementina is shaping Africa's event service industry through professionalism, empowerment, and purpose. Let's get into it. Welcome, Clementina.
Thank you so much, Rainey. It's a pleasure to be here.
Fantastic. We are going to immediately jump into your backstory. So please take us back. What led you to start Gloriouswills Ushering Services?
So the idea of the ushering business itself was inspired, and I spoke more about it in my book. However, the inspiration was built off of a need, which was I started working very early, that's professionally, in the 9 to 5. And from time to time, people will reach out to me to say, oh, can you help me with some money? Can you help me with some money? And I felt like giving out money in bits and pieces was not sustainable. So I thought about it like, what if I could create a platform where everybody could earn? And one day I was in church, and the person that was talking said something about God wants to bless you, but he needs what is in your hands. And that question kept coming back to me, that what is in my hands? What can I do? So the idea to start an ushering business came from there, and I decided to register an ushering business, and the journey has continued. It's
amazing. So to listeners who don't know, what exactly is the business of ushering?
Thank you for that question. So the business of ushering simply means being profitable by providing services, specifically ushering services. So I use the word usherpreneur to describe somebody that provides the business of ushering. So you provide the service, but you sell the service as a business. And I use the word usherpreneurship to capture everything that has to do with the business of ushering, which includes providing the services of ushering, training the staffs, which are ushers in this case. Some people use the word hostesses. So ushers, hostesses, whichever one you use, and the business of the ushering itself, which would mean that you register your business is in compliance with the rules of the country or cities you're existing in, and every other thing that just has to do with your finances and keeping it right for people to know that this is a business. So that is a summary of the business of
Okay.
ushering.
That is incredible. Thank you so much. So taking what you have, and I mean, most people could do exactly what you're saying. So thank you for sharing that. Can you speak on how your work aligns to the Sustainable Development Goal 8, decent work and economic growth?
Oh, yes. So you already took the first part out of my mouth, which is Sustainable Development Goal. That's the SDG 8, is about decent work and economic growth. So decent work just pretty means that giving people equal opportunity to earn. And one of the things I have noticed that, especially when it comes to the female gender, when they are able to earn, they're empowered and there is less compromise. So they can stand to do whatever they want to do, either to go back to school, to start a business, to support their family. The other side to it for the main gender is something that has to do with a sense of identity. Like when you take work from a man, it's more like you're taking away the sense of identity. So where Glorious Wills Ushering comes in is that we provide this opportunity for people to be able to earn, and we say that you earn decently, but more importantly with dignity, because you're doing something that you're happy to do, you're doing something that gives you the opportunity to earn so that you can further your goals. And like you read in my bio, this opportunity also led to another platform that is called the Professional Groomsmen, and that
Yeah.
is specifically for men. So men would be booked to appear at weddings, to act as groomsmen, and while they are looking good, they are taking pictures, they are earning from doing that. So that
Wow.
is how we address the issue of creating decent job. And one of the things about decent job is that when people earn, people are able to spend. So because people are able to spend, they are also able to save, and that in itself grows the economy of wherever these people find themselves. So that is how we approach and address the Sustainable Development Goal 8 of decent job and economic growth.
That's really incredible. So tell us a little bit more about the Groomsmen Initiative. Where did that come from? Like, was it just like a
So
spin-off from what you've
for the
done?
groomsmen,
Yeah.
yes. So for the groomsmen, it happened that I was about Gloriouswills Ushering Services, and a friend of mine had said to me that I'm not. I'm like during my he's married, and he said when I was getting married, I didn't really have friends, and the fact that I didn't really have friends. I did not really have people to cheer me on my wedding day. So just looking at you, I think we can do something together in the groomsmen space. And when he said it just made a lot of sense to me, because I have seen people. I come from a very large country. I live in
Mm.
Nigeria. Nigeria
Yeah.
is big, and we are invested into events, especially weddings.
Yeah.
And something about the wedding industry is that a lot of people don't they did not even grow up in Nigeria. There are some Nigerians living in South
Mhm.
Africa, living in the
Yeah.
UK, the US. So because they've lived outside of the country for a long time, when
Yeah.
they return, they really do not have friends in the country. So we thought about it that for these people, if only they could come to a platform like us where they can have a profile of men who they could reach out to say, oh, you know what, I'm getting married and I would love, let's say, 10 groomsmen.
Yeah.
And because we have trained these groomsmen, we already get the specification of the looks, we decide on that, and they show up on that day with energy, vibes,
Yeah.
and they just cheer you on. And that is the whole idea of the professional groomsmen. So groomsmen showing up professionally, that's what it's
It's
about.
amazing. I mean, I'd never actually thought about it. When you said now, oh, okay, people move away, they come back, they don't have friends. It totally makes sense. It's amazing that
Yes.
you found that gap. So well done.
Thank you
On
so much. So it's targeted at those people that may be
yeah.
coming back and doesn't have people to
Wow.
cheer them on the wedding day.
Wow, that is amazing. So you also wrote The Profitable Entrepreneur, which you've shown us, and you run a YouTube channel. What are you
Yes.
hoping people will take away from that content?
Basically, is that you don't have to go through. See, Renee, I went through a lot of stress, a lot of heartbreaks trying to grow and understand how to build my business.
Yeah,
So at some point, in fact, there was a time I dedicated a year to study the event industry, and there was at that time there was nobody talking about the ushering business. So I
yeah.
said to myself, I cannot be the only one looking for these answers. So this book and my YouTube channel is targeted at breaking down those problems in the industry
Mhm.
and creating solutions. So when you read this book, and this is not just me saying it, a
Mhm.
lot of people have said to me, thank you for writing this book,
Yeah,
because they can see how they can start their business, they
yeah.
can see how they can grow it. And that is what both the Profitable Entrepreneur book and when I talk about the business of ushering on my YouTube channel is about. It's just about creating that space for people to understand how to start and grow a professional and profitable ushering business.
That's amazing. So it's a step-by-step guide and a way for
Yes,
you to kind of miss the roadblocks that you must have encountered. So
exactly.
so sharing really.
Thank
I
you.
also came across an Usherpreneurship or Usherpreneur Summit. do you host those, and what does it entail? Yeah, speak about that a little bit.
So first, let me just say thank you. Like, I want to say thank you to you because you were so thorough. Like, when just you asking me these questions, I see that you really took your time to study me. So thank you. And coming to your question about the Usherpreneur Summit, so I quickly learned that when you're doing something new, they call you a trailblazer. That means you do not have anybody to model after. But what I learned with my business is that even though I may not have people in my industry, there are people in similar industries that are successful and there's something they are doing right. So I understudied those people, learn from them, and translate and transfer whatever they are doing in their industry into the business of ushering, adapt it, work at it, and see how far it works. Whatever does not work, we look at it again and tweak it to make it work. So that is the idea behind the Usherpreneur Summit. So the Usherpreneur Summit is targeted at creatives, entrepreneurs,
Mhm.
thought leaders who are doing something in their industry that we can learn from. So we officially started the summit in 2020, and we have drawn people that are hairdressers. For example, we had an hairstylist by the name Yene, who I later found out that was the hairstylist to Michelle Obama when she
Wow.
was in the presidency. And she's very successful at being an hairstylist. And
Mhm.
I saw from our processes that our processes are thorough and detailed, and we transferred that into our business. Another guest we've had is Dimeji. He's a footballer. And one of the things I actually learned from him was the discipline of waking up, training your body. And if you look at the ushering business, is a business that requires stamina because you stand, you talk to people. It also requires that you are highly adaptive. You can retain information. So, for example, if I want to sell the Rene brand, so Rene is a thought leader. What does she do? What are her products? So I would have to understudy you. So that is the idea of the Usherpreneur Summit. We look out for people that are doing amazing things in their field, bring them to talk about what they're doing, and from there we learn from them and adapt it to the business of ushering.
Unbelievable. I mean, yes, I went and looked at everything about Glorious World Ushering Service and yourself. But this, I mean, hearing it from you, I hope our listeners are going to be as excited. I'm going to move on now to um, having a quote or an extract of what you've said before. So you've said that good governance can be achieved through a social contract. Can you explain
Absolutely.
what it means in the context of your work?
So one of the beautiful things that happened to me with the Gloriouswills Ushering Services was that as I started to think international, like let's go outside of Nigeria, I started to look for opportunities, and I wrote about it in my book.
Yeah.
That is I the caption of that chapter is Go, and Go is an acronym for Global Opportunities. So in
Uh,
looking for global opportunities, I got selected as a YALI, that's Young Africa Leaders Initiative. That's an initiative of the then President of the United States of America, Mr. Barack Obama. And when I got into that fellowship, I met people from other West African countries.
yeah.
So when I saw the opportunity it gave me, in fact, from that particular fellowship, I got my first international client. I love to speak French, so I started to learn to speak French. So she's from a francophone country in Africa,
Yeah.
and when we started relating, she was like, "You know what? I'm getting married. How can you help me?" And so we worked with her on a wedding and all of that. So I saw the opportunity it gave me, and I started to intentionally look for other opportunities, and that led me to the Emerging Political Leaders Fellowship. That's the EPLF, and
Mhm.
more recently, the Latif Jakonde Leadership Academy, which is an initiative of the Lagos State Governor, where I got to serve as the special assistant to the governor. So I worked in the Ministry of Information and Strategy, Ministry of Justice, Ministry of Women Affairs and empowerment, and I saw that governance is at the core of people. So as a people, we exist in communities,
Yeah.
and in the community is governance. And for you to make impact, even with your business, if the environment, God forbid, if there is war, we will not be sitting down having this conversation.
Yeah.
And that is largely dependent on governance. And that was where that mindset came from. So when I was in the Ministry of Justice, we had the largest gathering of lawyers across Africa. It's called
Yeah.
the Nigerian Bar Association Conference. That's the NBA conference, and it was tagged pressing forward. In that particular leadership, I was the project lead, and I hosted the Lagos showcase. And we had Mrs. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala speak to us, and she was speaking about our work. And she said that concept of social contract. So according to her, social contract is everybody deciding as a community, this is how we're going to move forward. And
Mhm.
it occurred to me that if we do not decide as a people that this is what we want to be known for, then everything will go. And if everything goes, everything would eventually fall apart. And that is how it came to me that good governance can be achieved if we decide that this is our common goal. For example,
Yeah.
if we decide that I'm going to be a kind person, I will look out for the next person. So even if I've not met you before, for example, if we met at the airport and I notice that you're fiddling with your phone, you do
Yeah.
not have internet, and I'm a local, I could choose to share my internet with you so that you can get around in the city. That is a decision
Yeah.
that we have to come to in a community. And that is how I came about that concept that good governance can be achieved if we decide on a social contract.
That is amazing. I'm sitting and I'm just listening to you. I can listen to you forever. So, I mean, you have done so many things, and I love the way that you looking and you intentional about opportunities. And so, to anyone
Thank
listening,
you.
don't feel stuck wherever you are. Look at the
Oh,
I love that you said earlier, look at your hands, and it's like, okay, what can you do? What can you do? And just where can this go? So it's a bit of dreaming, it's a bit of intention, and it's work. Yeah. And that's
yeah.
amazing. That's amazing.
Thank you.
So you've mentioned openness to cross-border collaboration. What are you
Yes.
hoping to build with others across the continent or beyond?
I would say the conversation about people, planet, and prosperity. So recently, I got into a World Bank fellowship, and I also got into the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals Network. So it's called the UNSDSN. And I realized if I show you the other screen on my laptop, I have there the creed of the SDG goals.
Yeah.
And when I read through it, Rene, I saw that every human aspiration is actually captured in the fullness of the Sustainable Development Goals.
Yeah.
So, as looking to collaboration and partnerships, one, I want to say thank you to you for this opportunity because I do not know the number of people that would get to listen to this. But if you've not given me the chance to speak to you today, those people will never get to hear about us. And that is what I'm looking at, creating opportunities for people, creating partnerships for the planet to become a better place. We can be kinder, we can be loving, we can be our brother's keepers. Like whatever we do, we can infuse those qualities into our businesses, our 9 to 5, our families, and just with that, we can preserve the planet. And that in turn would lead to prosperity, which I believe that if we take care of the people, we take care of the planet, which is where we live, we can achieve prosperity. So that's what I'm looking at when it comes to cross-country collaboration, conversations like this, platforms where we could share and just doing things that can inspire people to be better.
Absolutely amazing. And how does one get a hold of a book, of a copy of your book? How can people get hold of that?
Okay. Okay. So the book is currently available on Amazon, and from Amazon it can be shipped to your doorstep anywhere in the world. All you have to do if you go to Amazon is to type in the word profitable Usherpreneur. That's Usherpreneur from the word ushering, which is Usher, Usher, Pre, then
Yeah.
Neur. So when you type that online, you can get it. Another way to get it is via my website, which is www madebyclementina.com. If you land on that website, you will see all the details about the book, and it can be shipped to you anywhere in the world.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing that. So, what's next for you, Clementina, personally and professionally?
Okay, so what's next for me is I'm looking to write more. I recently just realized, like what you said, that oh, you're doing a lot of things, and I thought to myself that a lot of time people feel that because I'm a mom, I cannot share about my business, or because I share about or because I'm in politics, I can't show that I am caring or I am kind.
Yeah.
So I'm looking to write more, and in my writing, I really want to show the different expressions that live in us as human beings. Because very recently I came to realize that as human beings, we are not just one thing. Like, you're not just one thing. You can be a mom, you can be a
Love it.
founder, you can love dogs, you can love wildlife. So I am really looking forward to sharing part of me. So I'm committing to sharing more on LinkedIn. That's at Clementina Busayo, on Instagram too. Unfortunately, I lost access to my Facebook page, and just on YouTube too, across all of those channels. And professionally, I'm looking to intentionally commit to governance. So I'm looking to take up opportunities in public service, which could be by appointment, or maybe in the future running for an office. I don't know yet, but it's something I'm open to, because I
Yeah.
realize that there's a lot that can be done there. And personally, I'm looking to grow in myself. So very recently I committed to a parenting class. I'm not married, I'm not a parent, but I did that because I noticed that there were a lot of topics that were considered in parenting that were
Yeah.
instructional to my life, one of which is emotional intelligence, another is healing from childhood trauma, another is creating love systems. Do you know that I went through a 30 days
Oh,
challenge of creating love systems, and I'm like, wow, why are we not talking about these things? So personally, I want to be a better
beautiful.
person, so I'm
Oh,
committing to that kind of coaching.
that's amazing. That is amazing. I'm inspired. If
Thank
you
you.
could leave our listeners with one word, what would that be?
One word is adapt. Let
Okay.
me just one word, adapt. Don't be
Yeah.
stuck, adapt. Like, keep growing, adapt.
And we can see that. We can totally see that from what you've just said. So
Thank
that
you.
was Clementina Busayo, entrepreneur, job creator, a visionary, reminding us that even the most overlooked industries can be a powerful engine of dignity, income, and opportunity. If you enjoyed this conversation, subscribe, like, and share it. And also follow Clementina on all her platforms that she's just shared. Until next time, keep showing up, stay listening, and keep quoting Women Plus. Thank you so much, Clementina.
Thank you, Renee.